Afternoon guys, so just come out to the woods to test Preston's new harness that I've made, so that's what this video is about. So I'm just seeing if he's got enough freedom of movement. You alright, mate? Good boy. Oh, miss. But the sound of making it is not great. So fortunately, I had the mic plugged in, but for some reason it's picked up background noise because it's a directional mic and it wasn't pointing directly at me, so there's a buzzing in the background. Now I've tried to edit out the best I can, but it does make my voice sound like I've got a bucket on my head, so bear with me on that one. Okay guys, so this is Preston's harness. Really simple. So that clips around his belly like that, and then that sits towards the front, so it clips on the front. So you clip that, which is just underneath his head, underneath his collar, and that stops him pulling. So if he gets excited and pulls, it just turns him round, rather than if you attach at the top. So the original harness I got from walkyourdogwithlove.com, which I'll put a link in down below. But unfortunately, Missy ate the actual original one, and so I had to make this one kind of knock it up pretty quick, just to try and take Preston for a walk with. So I'm going to make both the dogs one of these, but I'm going to do it out of leather. Now what I'm going to do is leave some webbing, I think, so there's a little bit of adjustment. The problem with Preston being a cockapoo, he's not going to grow anymore because he's 2 years old, but his coat gets really shaggy and bushy, so he is going to, you know, and as soon as I shear him, he's going to be a skinny little dog, and if I leave him, he's going to be a big fat dog. So it's going to have some sort of adjustment on it. Missy's one not so much. So what I'm going to do now, the problem I find with this is as this pulls, this tends to come inwards, so it tends to tip in like that. You know what I mean? So it hinges in and then sort of scrunches itself up because this strap really isn't strong enough. So I'm going to put a wider strap right the way round the dog with a clip underneath his belly. I'm going to try it on him, then I'm going to work out where I can sew this bit. This is obviously longer than I need. Edging tool down here. This is going to get sewn on here. Sorry, that way up. So that'll get sewn underneath like that, and then when we bring it back round, that should match up. I just don't want to leave any spiky bits on here. So this will give me a bit of adjustment, which should be enough. Right, okay, so just measured this on the dog. So just there. So that is where that meets. So we can, if we come back another 10 mil from there. Okay, so that's a bit. So this is measured to Preston. I've marked the centre on there, and then I've worked out about 60 mil to drop down each side to go underneath his chin because he's got a long neck. So I've got some narrower strips of leather here, and they are going to attach on there. So I'm going to sew one side on, then I'll work out the length on the dog, and then we'll work out the detail for doing the end ring as well. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to dye this part and that part, because otherwise when I do that on there, there's going to be a bit of untreated leather underneath. So I'm just going to do that. Stitch this on, and now working out the length, but trying it back on Preston, the buckle sits right at the bottom of his chest bone, so I've moved it so the buckle is more to one side. So instead of being there, I'm going to move the strap to here just to rotate the whole thing. So I'll get a mark on there, and we'll just dye that little bit as well. And then I've added another 50 mil. So after I've sewn it on, no, before I've sewn it on, I can put the D-ring on, and then that leaves me room to stitch that together. So that extra 50 mil will take up that stitching, and then that, like that, should be the completed thing. So, stitch that there, and then we've got the ring on the end, and I'll put a couple of stitches on there, so that sits close to his chest. We'll show you in a second anyway. Okay, so that's that stitch back on, so that's flat on the bottom, so it's not going to snag on the dog. has a stitch on the side. So when it lays flat, kind of lays like that, his head goes through there. Now, all I've got to do is buffer all these edges. I've already gone round with the edging tool, just to make it a bit more rounded. So I'm going to go around, buff all these edges, and then we can dye it. Now, all we're going to do is dye it. Tiny little brush here so I can get into that fold. So they can mooch along nicely together like that. Missy is always on the left, Preston is always on the right, and then I can grab that a bit lower down and gain a bit of control. No, you're not going back in the woods. Come on. Come on. Stop pulling. Stop pulling. Walk nicely, puppies. Preston, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. What about you? No, you're not, are you? You little rat. Canon EOS M3 or EOS M3, I don't know. But I've got my wide angle lens that I already had for my 700D, and I've got my Rode mic, which I scrape together, and I pick up little bits here and there. Scour the internet, I think I've never bought anything new camera wise, just because it's just such a premium thing, but I'm liking the focus of this. It's not driving me absolutely batty like the 700D whenever I wanted to talk to that thing, just hunting in and out the entire time, whereas this has got face tracking. Look, there's my face and I'm in focus, so it's not terrible. And I can even like stick it into really bright light. So this is just recording on full auto, which is, you know, I'm a simple creature. I want simple settings. Now, if I want to make it lighter and darker, I can do that in post. If I want to change the colour, I can do that in post.